Greetings, Una D here from O2 Energy Evolution. I want to take some time today to talk about an experience I had, and I will talk about some experiences in the future as my journey of my spiritual awakening, which is different than awakening to what's going on in the 3D world. And I'm speaking on these things because many people are going to be experiencing this, and although there's a lot of people giving you a lot of information on the ascension and awakening, sometimes we forget to tell our story and how we're informed, or the journey we've been through. So this is just a story from my journey that is totally interesting to me and really is kind of part of what's happening right now, some of the things we're battling and some of the reasons we're unable to move forward because these people, these beings are unable to let go of something I witnessed in my sleep state, but highly cognizant. So late 2018, early 2019, I wrote the dream down at some point. I never wrote the date. I'm calling it a dream, but I was there. I was there physically, not physically as a light being, but it felt as if I was there physically. All of a sudden, I ended up in what looked like a factory. And it was dark, but there was windows, like there was light coming in. You could see, but it was dim. It was not somewhere you wanted to be. But in this factory, there were black people being tortured. It was a human factory. I saw with my own eyes. And the reason I knew I was in Africa is they were soldiers. They were African. They wore, what are those, berets and military garb. So I knew it was in Africa somewhere, but I didn't know where. And they would take machetes and just slice people and just leave them there. And if you tried to run, they would shoot you. So I was in there, and I realized it was a light being at some point because they saw me, but they couldn't do anything to me. They were like looking at me. It was kind of like I was something fluttering around, but not, they couldn't attach it. And there was a fear there. It stopped everything I saw for a moment. I'm sure it continued afterwards. But I saw really horrible things that day in my sleep state. And I told somebody about it, I was like, well, it wasn't like a dream. I was there, and they couldn't touch me. I now look back at it like I was there to expose, to find, to draw out, so that could be stopped in that particular factory. That's how I look at it. I could be wrong because I don't know. That's the thing. Sometimes we are sent on assignments, or we're shown things, and we're shown things for a specific reason. And just know, just because you don't know what the reason is, your light has helped. Now that's why I tell you that part. So I found out where I was because I was at work a couple days later, possibly right after I told my light worker friend at work that I had this dream. A couple days after, somewhere, my mind is not that great. But I went to the locker room. I work at a gym. I went to the locker room. I went in my locker. I cleaned something. I walked away. I came back to put whatever I was putting back in my locker. And I found this, let's see if you can see it, on the floor of the locker, right by my locker. This is a coin from South Africa. And I was like, oh, damn, I was in South Africa. I found out later they have ships that ship people from South Africa through the Middle East, Pacific, whatever, on into California for human trafficking. Yeah, so I believe I was able to expose that because the ship that that one of the ships got busted in a California port, and it came from South Africa. I wish I could find the article, but this happened a while ago, and I'm just now able to speak on it. But my point here is there are always clues. God will always leave signs. I've never been to South Africa. I work at a gym in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and this coin was on the floor in front of my locker where it was not. When I walked away and came back, and it was there. So there's always clues, there's always signs, and know if you see something like that in your sleep state, consider it an honor, because it's bringing light to something. You are a powerful being bringing light to something. And a lot of people haven't explained that. We talk a lot about ascension and where we're going. But as you're going there, it's nice to know the journey you're on. And I thought I would just share part of mine. I'll share some other stories later. Have a wonderful day.